a weather pattern over the next couple of days. I'll let you know when to expect the rain and how much we could see through the end of the week.
Homicide investigation. A man killed near the American Tobacco Trail in Durham. The questions we have for police after the second killing in the same spot in 2 months. Deciding on health care. Today, the final vote is expected on the plan to fund North Carolina's Medicaid program. How the bill could help millions of people and why it's drawing some criticism. WRAL News at 8 starts in about 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Your number one source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good morning. The time is 8 a.m. here on your Tuesday. Thanks so much for starting your day with us. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. And you definitely have to pull out the coats this morning. A little chilly out there. Let's get over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking some wet weather.
Chilly and about to be wet, already wet in a few places. We have a cold front that's on the other side of the mountains, and we have this powerful line of thunderstorms that ran way out ahead of it. So it's moving away from its energy source and will continue to weaken. And plus, we have dry air over us right now. But the models are showing it continuing to move eastward into our area. There's definitely some thunder and lightning. We had some lightning up around Roxborough, along and north of I-85 is where we're seeing most of the rain, but we're beginning to see some of that now in the western part of Chatham County, getting ready to move into Moore County. So looks like it's going to slide in and continue to weaken as it does so, but a lot of us are going to end up seeing at least a few showers. You can see the rain from Roxborough up toward Oxford and Henderson and up toward South Hill, Virginia. About a 40% chance up until around noon, and then that chance begins to drop off. As the system moves eastward, it will continue to weaken. Tomorrow, the front will be over us, so we have a better chance for storms. It's a level 1 risk for severe storms for tomorrow, which means that a few of the storms could produce some wind damage. Look at the gray cloud. That's what's headed our way. You see those gray skies over there. It's 51 degrees right now in Raleigh and Durham, still looking at mid-40s in a couple of spots. And this afternoon, we should warm up into the low 70s. Again, we're going to talk more about that chance for rain Wednesday and again Saturday. Coming up, Ken.
Well, Elizabeth, we're keeping an eye on the ebb and flow of congestion on I-87 coming in out of Knightdale this morning. This is I-87 at Smithfield Road. These are the southbound lanes moving away from us this morning. And depending on what time of the day, you might see some heavy congestion or it might dissipate a little bit. Right now, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay. That was up to double digits in the last half hour. So depending on what time you're leaving the house, I'll keep you updated and let you know what's going on. That northern loop of the Beltline getting jammed up as well. I-440 at Newbern Avenue. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us this morning. So let's widen out the view, give you a look at the entire loop of that section of the Beltline. And right now, the main delays are between the I-440 87 interchange to Capitol Boulevard, and then it's really clear sailing in terms of getting over to Wade Avenue, just a 7-minute delay. We're also seeing some jam sessions going on in the southern loop of the Beltline. You're looking at an 8-minute delay there as well. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, I tell you, we've managed in the last 20 minutes to get this article up online regarding St. Augustine's University filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. We brought that to you as breaking news in the past 30 minutes or so. Let me kind of walk you through a little bit that's in this article here. Essentially, this Chapter 11 is a reorganization, not necessarily a liquidation. The school is trying to essentially stay alive. And the liability is between about $50 and $100 million, and assets are between $100 and $500 million. 20 top creditors are mentioned in this, including the highest one being the biggest creditor, I should say, the IRS at $14.4 million. We also know that the North Carolina Department of Revenue is owed some money as well there. And looks like $3.3 million is owed to American Trust Company, which is tied to retirement accounts there at the school. Now, we have extensive coverage regarding St. Augustine's University. Our colleague Destiny Patterson has covered this many, many times. If you go to WRAL News, you'll find this article with this update right on the homepage. But if you go to the search bar and type in St. Augustine's, you'll see our previous reporting as well.
Okay, Chris, thank you. New this morning, a man was arrested overnight for communicating a threat of mass violence on NC State's campus. Arrest warrants say 24-year-old Luke Hoover threatened on social media to shoot a victim at a public venue. He's also facing probation violations. Hoover will be in court this afternoon at 1:30. This morning, Durham police are now investigating a homicide on the American Tobacco Trail. A man was found with serious injuries last night on the Greenway near Fayetteville Street. Allie Catlabar is live at the Durham Police Department for us this morning. And Allie, this is the second person killed there in over a month on the trail.
Yeah, the second time in less than 2 months that this section of the American Tobacco Trail has become a crime scene. Now police are sorting through that evidence, trying to figure out what happened and who was all involved. Now this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows that investigation happening this morning. We saw forensics investigators put down about a dozen evidence markers on the trail. Now Durham police say a man was found with life-threatening injuries there around 6:30 yesterday evening. He died at the hospital. Now, this is the same location off Fayetteville Street where a man was stabbed to death last month. Police arrested a suspect about a month later, and both of these killings happened during daylight hours. Now, last month, Durham Mayor Leo Williams told WRAL that he was looking at safety recommendations for this section of the trail. Now, we are following this on WRAL throughout the day and keeping you updated throughout the day as well. Reporting live in Durham, Allie Cadlabar, WRAL News.
Happening today, Medicaid funding for more than 3 million North Carolinians is up for a final vote. That funding could run out in May if state lawmakers don't pass a bill.
Yeah, let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She's live outside the state legislative building this morning. And Kelsey, the Medicaid issue is an ongoing debate among state lawmakers. We're having trouble with our audio right now. We'll let you know what's going to run out of money next month, affecting millions. That's why the vote that's happening today in the legislature is so crucial. 1 in 4 North Carolinians rely on Medicaid for their health care. Now, if the program runs out of money, more than 3 million people could be denied coverage. Governor Josh Stein has been pressing lawmakers to approve new funding since last year, but lawmakers have disagreed over spending priorities. Medicaid is running on years-old numbers that don't account for the state's population growth or recent inflation. That's because lawmakers still have not passed a new state budget. The plan to fund Medicaid is expected to pass the legislature and head to Stein's desk this afternoon. Now, to find out what else is in that bill and why it's drawing some criticism, head to WRAL.com's homepage. That's where you can find all that information.
Well, new this morning in the war in Iran, the average cost of a gallon of gas in the Triangle has risen to more than $4. The cost is spiking as peace talks between the U.S. and Iran have stalled out. In early trading this morning, the cost of a barrel of Brent crude oil climbed to $111 a barrel. That's the highest level since the ceasefire started earlier this month. U.S. officials were supposed to travel to Pakistan last weekend for negotiations, but the trip was canceled at the last minute. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz will not return to its pre-war state, and nearly a fifth of the world's oil and natural gas supply passes through the strait. That big spike in gas prices showing up here right now with new data coming from AAA this morning. It shows the average for gas in Raleigh is at $4.01. That's up 23 cents in the last week. It's $4.04 in Durham and Chapel Hill, and in Fayetteville, we're looking at $3.91.
Happening today, the sheriff of Durham County will join other gun control advocates in Raleigh ahead of today's legislative session. The gathering is a response to a bill that would eliminate North Carolina's concealed carry laws. Governor Josh Stein vetoed the bill last year, saying it undermines responsible gun ownership. Durham County Sheriff Clarence Burkhead supported the veto. The state Senate approved a veto override, but the bill stalled in the House. Today's rally is meant to encourage state lawmakers not to override that veto. The rally is happening at the Church of the Good Shepherd on Hillsborough Street at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Also happening today, the Cary Town Council will be discussing the town's plan on bicycles. This comes after the council called on town staff to look into issues surrounding e-bikes and e-scooters on greenways and some streets. After a public hearing, the staff will make a recommendation based on a full review of the town's e-bike policy. Today's work session starts at 5:30 this evening. The public hearing is scheduled for Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
This morning, we are working to learn more about the condition of a Fayetteville veteran who was injured in a crash in Johnston County. This is where it happened here. Investigators say he was driving a garbage-filled tractor trailer on I-40 yesterday when it rolled over. The crash happened between Benson and Newton Grove just after 1 p.m. According to State Highway Patrol, the truck drove into the median, hit a guardrail, and flipped. Good Samaritans tried to free the driver from that vehicle.
I cut his seatbelts off, and then I asked him, was he able to get out of the truck? He was really dazed, really confused. He looked scared. He had a gash on his head.
State Highway Patrol says the driver, 69-year-old James Forte, was flown to the hospital with potentially life-threatening injuries. It's not clear what caused the crash. At last check, no charges are expected.
The man accused of opening fire outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner is charged with trying to assassinate the president. Cole Allen made his first court appearance in a federal courtroom yesterday. Allen is accused of running through a security checkpoint at Saturday night's event and firing shots at police and Secret Service agents. President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and other cabinet members were in attendance. Allen did not enter a plea during his court appearance. He will remain in custody, though. A hearing Thursday will determine if he is eligible for pre-trial release. The U.S. Attorney for D.C. says Allen is likely to face more charges as the investigation continues.
Your time now, 8:11. Staffing shortages. Governor Josh Stein talks about his plan to get more law enforcement positions filled, how he says it will help keep you safe.
And we have a band of rain and thunderstorms headed our way. Already seeing some rain in our north and western counties. I'll let you know what time you can see it where you are. 8:14, look at this band of rain, even a few thunderstorms associated with this, all moving eastward. As it moves eastward, a couple of things are happening. It's moving away from its main energy source, which is a front on the other side of the mountain. So that's pretty far away. And we have a fairly dry air mass in place, but it's not stopping it. It will continue to weaken as it slides eastward. And in our western counties, we're just starting to see some scattered rain. It's been a little bit heavier in our north and western counties, north and west of I-85. We'll zoom in and you can see some rain and thunderstorms around Roxborough, Oxford, Henderson, getting ready to move into, say, Hillsborough, and it's in Siler City, not quite to Pittsburgh just yet. It's a 40% chance of rain this morning and then tapers off as we get into the middle of the afternoon. Definitely looks nice and dark just behind Pittsburgh, so that rain is headed your way and will likely affect most of us. Our temperatures right now are mainly in the low to mid 50s, a couple of spots still in the 40s. If you're planning to exercise outside this morning, you may want to take it inside, but I think by the time we get to the evening commute, we're dry, mild at 72, Ken.
Elizabeth, happening now. We're picking up some heavy congestion on this northern loop of the Beltline, specifically around I-440 in New Bern Avenue. You can see the westbound lanes and the bumper-to-bumper traffic moving away from us this morning. So let's widen out the view, give you a look at that entire section. You can see the bulk of the delays happening between 87, 440 interchange and Capitol Boulevard, and it's clear sailing then all the way to Wade Avenue. You're looking at an 8-minute delay. Coming up, I'll let you know about the delays I'm picking up on the southern loop of the Beltline as well.
Ken, thank you. Well, video from California captured the moment strong winds caused a large hot air balloon to crash into the side of a casino. This happened yesterday just south of Sacramento. The hot air balloon came down as the casino was celebrating a groundbreaking for a new hotel. After it hit the building, the basket was shaken a bit, but the balloon kept going up. There were attempts made to land, but the balloon was forced to keep rising because of the wind. The pilot was the only person aboard and was not hurt. A social services worker will spend several months in federal prison for helping defraud the SNAP program. Sharmika McCrary was a caseworker for the Johnston County Department of Social Services. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District said she used her position to steal more than $100,000 worth of SNAP benefits. She will also serve 3 years of probation.
Enforcement staffing shortages. He brought up his recommended state budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The North Carolina Sheriff's Association Spring Conference yesterday. It includes pay increases and recruitment and retention bonuses for law enforcement officers. Stein says officers all across the state need to be prioritized.
We have a lot of vacancies. We can help local law enforcement agencies and state agencies address those vacancies by paying a competitive wage. Right now, a person can earn more working at Costco than they can as a detention officer in our state prisons, and that's absolutely unacceptable.
Various law enforcement officials have voiced support for Stein's proposal. It would need approval by the State House and Senate to become law.
North Carolina still ranks among the worst states for teacher pay. A new report from the National Education Association ranks the state 43rd in average teacher pay and 38th in starting teacher pay. This is based on data from the previous school year. Average teacher pay was about $60,000. Average starting pay was about $40,000.
Well, people in the Triangle are getting ready for the big America 250 celebrations this summer. The Raleigh Rotary Club members were at the Executive Mansion yesterday for a special tree planting. The group is planting more than 250 trees all across the city to mark the 250th anniversary of America. Organizers say the tree planting is a unique way to honor the country while advocating for a healthier city.
This is a really cool initiative because, we need more trees, right? And to do 250 of them to recognize this year's importance is just really cool.
The tree planting is among hundreds of America 250 events all across North Carolina.
Southwest Airlines is also celebrating America's birthday. The airline has revealed a red, white, and blue 737 dubbed Independence One. It made its maiden flight last night from Washington, D.C. to Dallas. United, American, and Alaskan Airlines are also planning to unveil their own special planes for America 250.
A Wake County man won big and made North Carolina lottery history. Montfort Faulkner won more than $1.5 million on a Fast Play ticket scratch-off. It's the largest jackpot for the Fast Play in state education lottery history. He bought it for just $20 at a Publix in Cary. After taxes, he's going home with just over $1.001 million. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes will have to wait just a little while longer to find out who they will play in the next round of the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Penguins beat the Philadelphia Flyers last night to avoid elimination. The Flyers still lead that series 3-2 now. The winner of this series will face the Canes in Raleigh for games 1 and 2 in the second round. Game 6 of the Penguins-Flyers series is tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Puck drops at 7:30.
Here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I know you guys are tracking this next weather maker, some much needed rain for our area for sure.
Absolutely. We had some over the weekend. We're going to see some a little bit this morning, more tomorrow, even Saturday. So we're on a roll here, which is great news. This front, of course, is producing these showers that are moving into North Carolina right now. Of course, this has a history, though, all across the country of producing damage. We had damage across Oklahoma and Texas. And of course, now we're looking at this in St. Louis. You can see that very heavy rain there. There were a lot of trees down, and today there'll be more of an assessment of damage to see if there were any tornadoes that touched down. The best chance for severe storms today is going to be from Memphis south and west over toward Dallas. This is where the level 3 risk is. We're not in a level 1 risk today, but we will be tomorrow as that front gets a little bit closer to us. Here's a look at what's happening right now. We have scattered showers and a few thunderstorms popping up, moving into our area. As this line of rain continues to move eastward, it's going to be weakening because it's moving away from its energy source, which is the front on the other side of the mountains. Plus, we have a dry air mass in place, but we are definitely looking at the potential for some rain here. We're starting to see some of that around Oxford, a lot of rain up into Mecklenburg County, Virginia, Person County, down here across parts of Orange County and back to the south and west. This is a look at Futurecast. This is 9 a.m. looking at that rain from Durham northward. A few showers continuing around 10 or 11, and even after lunchtime we see a few of those, but they begin to slide on out of here. So just expect some scattered showers. It's not going to be much in terms of how much we see in the rain gauges, but by tomorrow we have the chance more like a ½ an inch to an inch. Some of the storms tomorrow could produce strong damaging winds, but it's likely to be isolated. It'll be breezy, cooler, and drier behind the front. Here's a look at Wednesday. A few isolated showers in the morning, and then we'll see some scattered showers on and off during the day. It may be that it's not evening until the front comes through, and when that happens, you can see right there, 7 or 8 o'clock, that line of storms could be where we have the best chance of seeing those stronger winds. That level 1 risk does cover the entire viewing area, and again, it means just a chance of some isolated severe weather. Looking at the chance of maybe ½ an inch to an inch through tomorrow, which will be great to see. 50, and then maybe even a little bit more as we get into the day on Saturday. Totals through Saturday could be maybe an inch to maybe an inch and a half, which is great news for us for this week. We'll likely be dry Thursday and Friday, and we'll have that next chance of rain on Saturday, and it'll be pretty cool too, Ken. Only 66.
Ooh, pull out the coats. Hey, listen, happening now, here's what we're looking at. That southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us. You can see that heavy congestion there. So here's what you're looking at. You're looking at a 6-minute delay. And keep in mind that southern loop of the Beltline covers I-40, 440 interchange in Southeast Raleigh over there, US 1 there in Cary. No delays whatsoever between Highway 36 and the Beltline if you're coming in from the Garner-Johnston County area. Things are beginning to thin out a little bit on that northern loop of the Beltline. As we look at I-440 and New Bern Avenue, those are the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. So as we widen out the view, you can see the bulk of the delays on Capitol Boulevard back to the I-87, 440 interchange. Right now, you're looking at an 11-minute delay. So keep that in mind. You're about to head out the door. As far as the other major routes are concerned, you're looking at a 12-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest at this hour.
Ken, thank you. Getting a refund. Small businesses have felt the effects of tariffs over the last year or so. 5 on your side shares what you need to know about tariff refunds and who could be eligible.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio in Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, who's tracking a little bit of rain on the radar. Elizabeth.
Let's take a look at where that is right now. We're looking at that rain pushing towards Sanford and Pittsboro. We're seeing it along and north of the I-85 corridor, starting to see it creeping south almost to Durham in terms of the city, and it will continue to slide eastward. As it does, it will weaken, and so there may be some people who don't see any of this rain, and what we see is mostly going to be light. It starts to taper off as we get after lunchtime. Here's a look at Pittsboro. It doesn't look like we're seeing any rain reaching the street just yet, but it is gray there for sure. Our temperatures heading out the door right now are mostly in the low 50s, and we'll see a high this afternoon of 72 as it starts to dry out later today. Ken?
We're keeping an eye on that southern loop of the Beltline. Here's what we're looking at. I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us. Real bumper-to-bumper traffic this morning. Right now, though, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. Things are really getting jammed up on all of our major routes, including Wake Forest. You're looking at an 11-minute delay coming in on US 1. Just a 6-minute delay if you're coming in from Apex and US 1 North. And for folks coming in from Durham, we're picking up a little bit of delay around Aviation Parkway. You're looking at a 6-minute delay. Another update at the bottom of the hour coming up.
Durham police are investigating a homicide on the American Tobacco Trail. This happened near Fayetteville Street around 6:30 p.m. yesterday. A man was found with life-threatening injuries and he later died. This is the second homicide in that same location in less than 2 months. Happening today, Cary's Town Council will talk about its bike plan ahead of a public hearing later this week. This comes after the council called on staff to look into issues surrounding e-bikes and scooters. We'll have much more news on Fox.
We have a weather pattern over the next couple of days. I'll let you know when to expect the rain and how much we could see through the end of the week.
Homicide investigation. A man killed near the American Tobacco Trail in Durham. The questions we have for police after the second killing in the same spot in 2 months. Deciding on health care. Today, the final vote is expected on the plan to fund North Carolina's Medicaid program. How the bill could help millions of people and why it's drawing some criticism. Yeah, lots going on during this short session of the General Assembly, and we'll keep you updated, of course. Thanks for being with us. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine. It is a busy morning, so we'll get you up to date on everything you need to know as you head out the door, including the forecast with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, who's tracking a little bit of action there on the radar behind her.
Definitely seeing some rain, even a little bit of thunder and lightning trying to show up in a few spots. So we're seeing that in our western and northern counties right now, along and north of I-85, moving into Durham right now, Chapel Hill, all the way down through Pittsboro and the northern part of Moore County. All this will continue to slide eastward, but it's going to be weakening as it moves eastward. It's moving away from its energy source, which is a front on the other side of the mountains. Plus, it's moving into some drier air. So we're not going to see a whole lot of rain in terms of the rain gauges, and most of it will be from the triangle Triangle area westward. It does start to taper off after lunchtime, but some of us, anyway, will see some scattered showers. We'll have a better chance across the area tomorrow as the front itself moves in, and that will bring us a level 1 risk for severe storms. A few isolated storms could produce some wind damage, potentially knocking down a tree or so. We look off to the west here, and it looks like you can see the rain falling west of the airport there at RDU. 51 is our current temperature, so it's cool out there. Still 49 in Goldsboro and Clinton, 48 in Roxborough, otherwise low 50s. After the rain ends this afternoon, we should climb to nearly 70 degrees. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're keeping an eye on this southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. The westbound lanes moving away from us. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic, and this is the kind of traffic that we see this time of the morning. You're looking at a 7-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline, so keep that in mind. As for the northern loop of the Beltline, things getting a little jammed up as well. I-440 and New Bern Avenue. Again, these are the westbound lanes moving away from us, so let's widen out the view so you can see exactly what we're talking about here in terms of where you're looking at for the delays that we're seeing on this northern loop of the Beltline. It's really between Capitol Boulevard, stretching all the way back to the I-87 440 interchange. But right now, you're looking at a 10-minute delay. So this is part of your morning commute. Just know you'll be running into a little bit of a delay. The other routes heading into the Raleigh-Wake County area, look at a 10-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning. A 4-minute delay if you're coming in from Durham on I-40 eastbound. We're picking up a little bit of delay around Aviation Parkway. And we're also seeing some congestion building on US 1 north around Highway 55 or Williams Road, if you will. You're looking at a 6-minute delay. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, Ken, thank you. New this morning, St. Augustine's University has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That's according to new documents filed in U.S. bankruptcy court. The Raleigh University has been grappling with falling enrollment and a battle over its accreditation. Chapter 11 is a move toward reorganization, not liquidation. The documents show the university owes between $50 and $100 million. A recent audit found weakness in the university's controls over financial reporting. WRAL will stay on top of this story throughout the day. We'll have a breakdown of what's next for the university in our later newscast beginning at noon and 4.
New this morning, a man was arrested overnight for communicating a threat of mass violence on NC State's campus. Arrest warrants indicate 24-year Luke Hoover threatened on social media to shoot a victim at a public venue. He's also facing probation violations. Hoover will be in court this afternoon around 1:30.
Durham police are investigating a homicide on the American Tobacco Trail. Officers shut down the trail off Fayetteville Street for more than 9 hours. They cleared that area at 4:30 this morning. Allie Katlabar has been at that scene, and she's now live at the Durham Police Department in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And Allie, we know that there's now some safety concerns as this is the second person killed on the trail this year.
Yeah, Laura, the second time in less than 2 months that this section of the American Tobacco Trail has become a crime scene. Now, Durham police are sorting through that evidence, trying to figure out what happened. And this is video from that lengthy investigation that we saw this morning. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. It shows forensics investigators laying down about a dozen evidence markers on the trail. Durham police say a man was found with life-threatening injuries there around 6:30 yesterday evening. He died at the hospital. This is the same location off Fayetteville Street where a man was stabbed to death back in March. Police arrested a suspect about a month later, and both of these killings happened during daylight hours. Now, last month, Durham Mayor Leo Williams told WRAL that he was looking into safety recommendations in that area on the trail. We are following this today on WRAL. We're also working to find out the name of the victim and if anybody has been arrested. Reporting live in Durham, Allie Katlabar, WRAL News.
I want to give you a live look now at the legislative building in downtown. Well, this afternoon, Medicaid funding for more than 3 million North Carolinians will be up for a final vote. Now, that funding could run out in May if state lawmakers don't pass this bill. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey live outside that building this morning. Kelsey, this is an issue that's been going on with lawmakers for months.
Yes, Ken, it is. Medicaid is on track to run out of funding next month, affecting millions of people. That's why the vote that could be happening here today at the legislative building is so crucial. 1 in 4 North Carolinians rely on Medicaid for their health care. If the program runs out of money, more than 3 million people could be denied coverage. Governor Josh Stein has been pressing lawmakers to approve new funding since last year, but lawmakers have disagreed over spending priorities. Medicaid is running on years-old numbers that don't account for the state's population growth or inflation. That's because lawmakers still have not passed a new state budget. The plan to fund Medicaid is expected to pass the legislature and then head to Governor Stein's desk this afternoon. To find out what else is in this bill and why it's drawing so much criticism, you can head to WRAL.com's homepage. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Well, new this morning, the average cost of a gallon of gas in the Triangle up above $4. The cost is spiking as peace talks between the United States and Iran stalls. In early morning trading, the cost for a barrel of Brent crude oil climbed to $111 a barrel. That's the highest level since the ceasefire started this month. U.S. officials were supposed to travel to Pakistan last weekend for negotiations, but the trip was canceled last minute. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz will not return to its pre-war state. Nearly a fifth of the world's oil and natural gas supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Well, new data from AAA showing you what I just mentioned. The price of gas in Raleigh at $4.01. That's up 23 cents in just the past week. In the Durham-Chapel Hill area, the average is $4.04. In Halifax County, it's $4.12.
Happening today, we will get an update from the Army Corps of Engineers about lake levels in the Triangle and water restrictions. Ed Buchanan from Raleigh Water tells us the levels at Falls Lake saw no change after last weekend's rain. And right now, 10 cities and towns across the Triangle are facing water restrictions because of low water levels. Today's update will come at 10 a.m. Meanwhile, Harnett County announced yesterday it is not going to enforce water restrictions at this time in communities that it serves, including Holly Springs. That's according to a spokesperson. The Harnett Regional Water Team says it has enough water to meet demand, but it is asking people to conserve on their own.
Well, today, King Charles will address a joint session of Congress at the U.S. Capitol as we look live at the Capitol this morning. His speech is set to last about 20 minutes, according to royal aides. The king is expected to use his speech to help prepare the, quote, special relationship between the U.S. and Britain that's been under strain over the war in Iran. He also is expected to share a brief message of sympathy for the shooting that happened during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You can watch King Charles's congressional address on WRAL starting at 3 this afternoon.
The man accused of opening fire outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner has been charged with trying to assassinate the president. Cole Allen made his first court appearance in federal court yesterday. He is accused of running through a security checkpoint at Saturday night's event and firing shots at police and Secret Service. President Donald Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and many cabinet members were in attendance, as we reported. Allen did not enter a plea yesterday. He will remain in custody. A hearing on Thursday will determine if he is eligible for pretrial release. The U.S. Attorney for D.C. says Allen is likely to face more charges as this investigation continues. We have extensive coverage of this story on our WRAL YouTube page. You can learn more about the moments leading up to the shooting, the suspect, Cole Allen, and the fast and fact-checked social media claims. You can just search White House.
Waukegan police say the man who was shot and killed by a police officer was running after a chase. 39-year-old Michael Williams died Sunday. Waukegan police say Williams crashed, got out of the car, and ran. Williams was later shot by an officer and died at a hospital. Police say Williams had several outstanding felony warrants. They did not release the name of the officer who shot him. Wake County Public Schools preparing to help students reflect on the 250th anniversary of the United States. Today, the school system plans to present their ideas to a school board committee that includes dozens of activities for students, such as creating timelines, studying local figures, and interviewing their elders.
Time now, 8:40. Movie theater takeover. What one man tells us he saw that led to 7 juveniles being detained in North Hills.
Also, tariff refunds. 5 on your side shares who could be eligible to apply for them and whether they make an impact in the long run.
And some showers moving into the western part of our viewing area. And those are arriving in Durham as we speak. We'll talk about when you could see some of this rain and how much it could be coming up. 844, a band of rain back to the west of us continues to inch into our viewing area. As it does, it is going to continue to dry out. We have a fairly dry air mass in place right now, and the bulk of the energy with this is way to the west. So the farther east it goes, the less energy it will have. But tomorrow will be a different story because the front that's behind this will come in and move right over us, and that'll give us a better chance for rain. 40% until around lunchtime. Gradually it tapers off. So just be ready for a few isolated showers. It is raining right now in Pittsburgh. Looks like it's coming down pretty heavily right now, just starting to get the streets wet. And so we'll continue to see that. The western part of the viewing area will have a better chance than the eastern half. It's chilly out there. 54 in Fayetteville, 51 in Durham, 50 in Wilson right now. And if you're taking your kids to after school practices, the rain should be over by then. We may see a little sun trying to break out. Temperatures in the low 70s. Ken?
Well, Elizabeth, happening now. Boy, take a look at what I'm looking at here in that southern loop of the Beltline, I-40 Lake Wheeler Road. These are the westbound lanes coming toward us and moving rather slowly this morning. But as jammed up as that looks, you're just looking at a 6-minute. It jumped to 8 minutes. So things are getting jammed up there in that southern loop of the Beltline. So keep that in mind if you're about to head out the door right now. I'll check to see if I'm picking up any delays on some other major routes in about 10 minutes.
So a few years ago, I remember we reported about a man accused of pledging allegiance to the Islamic State group and plotting to attack one of Taylor Swift's concerts in Vienna. Well, I can tell you that today he pleaded guilty at the beginning of his trial. This is a photo that they had of him with his face sort of blurred there. Essentially, the plot did not go through. It was thwarted, but Austrian authorities still canceled 3 of Taylor Swift's performances after this happened. And we know that this defendant is 21 years old now, but was 18 at the time of the arrest. He was facing quite a few charges, including terrorist offenses and membership in a terrorist organization. He could be sentenced to up to 20 years in prison and has been in custody since August 2024.
Chris, thank you. Businesses are now in line to receive tariff refunds. 5 on your side's Alex Littlehills examines the impact of tariffs across small businesses and their customers and how business owners may be able to get back some of what they lost.
My God didn't turn the other light on.
Every day, Chris Sandy is in his office, crunching numbers.
Tariffs have affected things, but unfortunately, businesses, distributors also take advantage of the situation.
Sandy owns Build Right Supply, a construction supply company in Nashville. Over the last year, tasked to balance his prices to keep business up, even as his share of the profit goes down.
Who's bearing the burden of this stuff?
So the consumer. The consumer always bears the burden. We in the middle, we have borne some of it because you can only charge so much. And so our margins have decreased just to try to stay competitive.
Sandy is not alone. WRAL surveyed businesses across central North Carolina. A majority of respondents say tariffs have made it more costly to run their business, some of them acknowledging passing off prices to their customers. North Carolina Attorney General Jeff Jackson now urging North Carolina businesses to apply for refunds through a new government portal. Refunds that are not available to the everyday taxpayer.
Well, it sounds good in theory, but I think it's pretty impractical. You know, like so many other things, you know, once they go up, if they move back down, it's minute.
Sandy isn't sure if they'd help, telling WRAL despite his frustrations, he still supports the policy in hopes it helps the larger economy.
But, you know, tariffs is a part of us trying to get the economy balanced.
Alex Littlehales, 5 on your side.
A disturbance at North Hills led to Raleigh police detaining 7 kids. According to the videos posted on TikTok, the kids were kicked out of a movie theater Saturday night. That was after becoming too rowdy during a showing of rapper NBA Youngboy's documentary. Videos from inside the theater show people dancing and singing in the aisles and in front of the screen as well. One person said the theater kicked everyone out. The group then spilled out into North Hills area.
As soon as the sirens and the lights were shown and you could hear it, I mean, kids just started running. Like it was insane. It was like you stepped on a fire ant hill and they just dispersed.
WRAL reached out to Regal Cinemas in North Hills for comment. As of this morning, we've not heard back. Taylor Swift going from the Eras Tour to the AI era.
And cheering for your favorite World Cup team with your pet. Here's a look at what's trending. Let's start with this. Adidas wants your pet to get a piece of the World Cup excitement. The company is launching a new pet jersey collection inspired by the games. They're designed to match the players' field jerseys so fans can include their four-legged friends in on the celebration. The collection is available online starting on Friday.
Yeah, don't forget your four-legged friends. And of course, you can watch the World Cup right here on Fox 50 starting on June 11th.
That's going to be a hit.
Oh, yeah, big time. Well, look what you made Taylor Swift do. The singer is attempting to protect her identity in the AI era. Swift filed to trademark her voice and likeness. Experts say the move aims to prevent the misuse of artificial intelligence. Now, two of the applications are tied to sound trademarks covering her voice, with the saying, "Hey, it's Taylor Swift," and "Hey, it's Taylor."
Yeah, I'm surprised she hasn't been done that a long time ago.
I would imagine. A 1 mile stretch of Fayetteville Road in Garner getting some major upgrades. The state DOT plans to expand the highway near the North-South Station Plaza. The $26 million project will create a 6-lane road with a median. It will also remove left-hand turns from side streets with a goal of lowering the risk of crashes and delays. State DOT also taking public input on its plan to improve highway access along the Outer Banks. There's an 11-mile stretch at Highway 12 that often closes because of overwash. It's the only highway in and out of that popular vacation spot. The first meeting on the plan is tonight at the Hatteras Civic Center. You can also submit your thoughts on the State DOT website through May 15th.
Well, let's welcome back meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, we are preparing to get much needed rain here in our forecast. I also saw that live look over the Durham Bulls Stadium where they have the tarp down getting ready.
They did, didn't they? This is a look at what's going on. We have this cold front that's back to the west. This one's been producing a lot of severe storms. Last night it was mainly St. Louis. You can see the yellow boxes, severe thunderstorm warnings, and the red. Look at all of those tornado warnings. So this storm has a history of producing a lot of severe weather. What's happening right now is the front is moving at one pace, and all the showers and thunderstorms are moving much faster than that. And a couple of things are happening. As it moves away from the front where the energy is, this band of rain is weakening. It's moving into some drier air, but it's made it all the way here. It's kind of like if you're running a race and you're sprinting to the finish line, and then you're like, That's kind of what this is doing over us, just kind of going to weaken. But because it was moving so fast across our area, well, I got some pictures to show you coming up. Let me talk about this first. I'll jump to the pictures, getting ahead of myself. Some scattered rain right now in Sanford, a few isolated showers starting to pop up here in Wake County, around Durham and up the I-85 corridor. Notice that as this is moving into our viewing area, it's weakening and fizzling out, and there's definitely more of it along the I-85 corridor from Charlotte to Greensboro. We zoom in, again, some rain in Durham right now, Roxborough over toward Henderson and up into Mecklenburg County, Virginia. And this is a look at Futurecast, and it definitely shows some showers around the triangle, but notice how it weakens, especially as it moves eastward and as we go through time. There's just not that much rain there. So looking at some light amounts, maybe a tenth of an inch at best in some places, but it's moving so fast that it's creating some waves out ahead of it. And we've had some cool pictures sent to us, reported. Nan Hanna sent us this one from Cary. I was catching some of those on our Skycam as well. So if you're wondering what those clouds are, the system is moving so fast that it's actually creating some waves as it moves into our area. Wednesday is going to bring us a much better chance for rain. The front itself will be here, so we do have a level 1 risk for severe storms. That means a few storms, isolated ones, could produce some wind damage. Lots of gray skies here at RDU. The chance of a few showers showing up as some rain there officially on the observation. 51 is the temperature, and this afternoon we should dry out and our highs will climb into the low 70s. We have more rain in our forecast. Tomorrow, maybe an inch to an inch and a half. On Saturday, maybe another half an inch to an inch in both cases. And it'll be cool on Saturday too with that rain. Our high only 66.
Elizabeth, thank you. Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers. We will have another check on weather and traffic coming up next.